Early on, I did tell you that we are going to be taking calls, so slightly serious now. The fun and games are over for a few minutes. Our mystery guest is coming in about an hour from now, but we want to know from you how long you've been sober. You are going to inspire people, males, females, young, old, doesn't matter who they are across the socioeconomic or social or racial spectrum. You are going to inspire them and empower them to get out of an addiction, be it alcohol, be it drugs or other. You can remain anonymous, but you have been through it. You've been through the tough times. Some of you have been sober for 6 days, 6 years, 10 years. And it's been a tough journey for some. And I want you to share your story with us, please. We're here to listen, not to judge. 510. Harris, what's going on? Oh, can I just say something, Harris? I just got a note here now. We had a guy on yesterday. He was going through some troubles. His wife passed away, 3 daughters, and he was really going through a tough time. Just got a lovely note now from a listener. Got him some goodies, the gentleman, and what an amazing man. God bless his heart. Wow. Our listeners are incredible. Unbelievable. People reached out, and it's not just him. It's other folk that they reached out to that called up and they genuinely want to help. And that's what we do here. We're just the vessel. We're just the conduit. Capital NP and you. Let's go to James first. Hey, James, are you well?
I'm good in yourself.
Fantastic, James. Now, James, I want you to listen to this very, very quickly. Ben Affleck, we all know Ben, married to J-Lo, Jennifer Garner. He had a drinking problem. He stopped. Then he started drinking again, and then he got into trouble. We want you, James, Cheslin, and the rest of the callers to inspire those to take a serious look at the drinking or the drugs they on, and we need our people sober. Let's roll the tape. Ben Affleck first, then James.
As you say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've definitely been through that. I'm very open about it. That's going to be discussed, and I'm going to discuss it in an open way, and hopefully a byproduct of that is, as you suggest, that somebody might say, like, well, if he can kind of like go through it, or more specifically really kind of demonstrate that you don't have to be defined by these issues. A lot of people struggle. You can see the tendrils of this thing kind of spread out. All these kind of behaviors, I think, extend from a place of, people who are suffering in some way or another, and they're trying to find a way to make themselves feel better. And I think the value, if there's value in me talking about being a recovering alcoholic, is that, that doesn't have to be who you are.
Our listeners are going to inspire you if you're going through some trouble right now, either drugs or alcohol or other. We want to help you. We want to empower you to get out of that cycle of addiction. James, you've been sober for how long?
22 years, since 1993.
Wow. And what was the turning point for you, James?
I went through a divorce and went to the divorce took too long, and I went drinking. But it didn't ease the pain. It was there. When you're sober, it's there. And got into trouble all the time. Lost my jobs.
Wow.
Good jobs.
Sure.
Lucky I had a mother that was looking out for me. I went home. She said I must come home. I went home with one pair of khakis, one jacket, broken jeans. In 1993, I went home and I said, Mom, I want to stop drinking. I stopped drinking for 3 weeks, but then I decided I have to go clear my mind. I went to a rehab. And I was at the rehab, and the social worker that dealt with my case said, no, but you will drink again. And I said, what's the space? And I never drank again. I went back to my buddies, which were drinking with me, sat with them, but never drank again. Because the Lord only gives you so much chances in life. And I almost died a couple of times through this drinking, and I had 2 kids, 4 years old and 7 years old girls, which I got custody for them. And then I just decided I quit drinking.
Wow.
And that's 32 years ago.
Tell me, James, tell me about your near-death experiences so that we can wake the city up, so that we can talk to the people, the men, the women, the young boys, young girls, teenage boys, teenage girls who are struggling with addiction right now.
One night in Worcester, 12 o'clock at night, I don't know what I'm doing in Worcester at the crossing. There was a group of men came past me, they robbed me, kicked me, unconscious there, and when I came by, I saw a garage up the road, and I went to sleep there. And the cops came and they said I can't sleep there. And then I walked down the road, and I saw a light burning in a house, and I just walked in. And these people took pity of me, and they let me sleep there. And the next day I went home. Then I decided that was the last. That was it.
Wow.
But before that, there was many a times that I could have been dead.
James, just in closing now, because we've got tons and tons of calls coming through, what advice have you got for people listening to the show right now who are struggling with alcohol? They can't stop. They've tried. They troubled, and we want to help them, or even if it's drugs, because it's addiction. It falls
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it falls under the banner of addiction.
Same thing. Same thing. The thing is, you must decide for yourself. It's not somebody must put you there or ask you to stop. It must come from within yourself to stop and say, I had enough, and take it from there. But you must take it day by day. It's just not something that will blow over overnight. It's you. I'm still getting this devil sitting in my head, saying that I can have a drink, but I just brush it off.
All right, James. James has been sober for 32 years. Congratulations, James, and long may it continue, my friend. 521. Let's go to Ches. He's on line 16. Hey, Cheslin.
Hi, good afternoon, Nigel.
Hi, good afternoon, Cheslin. You've been sober for?
10 years yesterday.
Sure. Yesterday?
That's correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheslin, tell us your story.
The caller before just reminded me of all the unmanageability that one goes through when you are using drugs or using alcohol, and my life was unmanageable to the max, to a point where I was about to lose my kids. I was alone in my house, at the point where I'm taking copper off the house, and
Wow.
I got to a point where I was like, Jason, what are you doing? And this had followed after numerous being booked into rehab. I've been to rehab numerous times, but as the caller said before, you have to reach that point on your own, and through the grace of God, I reached that point. I reached a point of desperation to change my life and to do something different, something I haven't fully done before. And one step after the other, I just had to keep doing what was suggested to me, and 10 years later, I'm still very much in recovery. My life is so different. I've accomplished so much. I've lost a lot of friends. I don't associate with people that are still using. I've been taught that people, places, and things. Until today, I don't sit with people that smoke drugs. I don't put myself in any situation like that, because that's also not my life anymore.
Exactly.
It's been quite a journey,
Chesna, what was the hardest part of staying sober and being sober?
The hardest, I think in the beginning, it was just adapting back into reality. I can remember getting my first paycheck that I actually worked for, and I had no idea how to use an ATM.
Sure.
I was very withdrawn and quiet, but because I was so afraid of going back to where I came from, I just fearful in everything I did. I just pushed and I did what I needed to do. Even though it was scared, I still did it. I didn't want to go back.
Cheslin, tell me, was it only alcohol? Were you doing drugs as well?
No, I was a full-on button cop at the cop.
Wow.
That was my main thing, yeah.
Good grief. And kids?
I have 2 kids. They are good.
Nice.
They are with me. Yeah, everything is fine now. I have beautiful relationships with my brother, with everybody.
Nice. I'm so happy for you, and I'm happy that you and your kids are healthy, and you've been sober for 10 years, and long may it continue, Cheslin. Everybody's rooting for you and James. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, Cheslin, thank you so much. Let's go to Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how you going? You well?
Good, thank you, Nigel. Yourself?
Fantastic. Sober for?
October will be 3 years.
And what were you? Drugs, alcohol, both?
Alcohol, mainly.
What made you stop?
Yeah. I got hijacked in June of 2022.
Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I went on a total binge for about 2 months after that. Thought I was on holiday. I was off work. And then, developed septicemia. Spent 31 days in hospital.
Good grief, Kyle.
Spent 31 days in hospital. A lot of reflection. A lot of blaming myself. Got over it. I spent a lot of time with a psychologist.
Does that? Am I going to ask? Maybe it's a rhetorical question, but sometimes people don't believe in it. Your experience with a psychologist, it helped you?
It's a very difficult question because I think a lot of it still comes from yourself. And so my biggest challenge was I left work 5 minutes early that day, and it felt like I stole time. And that happened. I always blamed myself. I said if I stayed 5 minutes, this wouldn't have happened. And so that was my biggest hurdle. And she helped me tremendously with, if it wasn't me, it was somebody else. But I also look back and I go, maybe that had to happen for me to change my life. So, yeah. I spent 30 days in hospital. Crazy. Want to kill yourself inside there.
Sure.
Not being able to go anywhere.
I wish you well. 3 years is short versus 10 versus 32. But I think you are on the right track, Kyle. We wish you well. Everybody here at the studio, the millions of people that listen to us, we're rooting for you.
Thank you very much.
No worries, Kyle. Thanks for your time. Let's go to Raymond first. Raymond is on line 32. Raymond, how long have you been sober, sir?
Good afternoon, Nigel. Look, I'm fresh out of it, listening to the other people. I thought I'm the baby from everybody now, being sober. Look, on the 7th of April, I was rushed into hospital with large bowel obstructions. I spent like 28 days in hospital. So I was a smoker, cigarette smoker. Packet or 2 per day, plus I was a drinker, but not every day, but weekends. The last time I drank was on the 6th. I had 2 beers, and this was the last time I also smoking cigarettes. So yes, I spent the time in hospital. It was a 50-50 for me. Doctors didn't give me a chance actually, but I survived through the ordeal. So I decided that I could live without cigarettes while I was in that hospital, and I decided to quit. And I decided to quit with the beers and everything. Yes, I had a second chance. It's not the first time that I got the second chance, but this time was for real because, I spent so much time in hospital. So, yeah, that's me, been sober for just over a month now.
Good for you. We're happy for you. I'm really, really happy for you. And we want you to continue on this journey. Your story and the stories we've heard thus far are inspiring hundreds of thousands of people who battle with alcohol or drug addiction. We've still got 2 more calls to come. We do that after 5:30. Robert standing by, and then Anonymous.
At 6, my name is Sharmila Fisher.
Robert, you're up to bat. It's 5:30. How long have you been sober?
Hi, Nigel.
Hi.
I've been sober for 17 years. 17 years in November this year.
Wow. And why did you decide to become sober?
look, with everything that was going on, and my wife offering me to go to rehab because I have a daughter. I had a daughter at that time. She was still a baby. And with all the trouble that I was in, I had to make a decision.
What kind of trouble, Robert?
Yeah, everything. Accident. I had my own motorbike at that time. And I fell into a pothole on Old Stramfontein Road. Guys came to pick me up off the road. They called the fire to come and kind of like come and rescue the situation because I was unconscious.
Good grief.
And, like just the fighting, the not going home, losing my job.
Sure.
Yeah, it was just a terrible, terrible time and a dark hole that you can't get out of yourself.
Yeah. So you had support, you had your wife, and she said to you, she I would presume, and correct me if I'm wrong, gave you an ultimatum.
Yeah, she sat me down and said, look, I've got the forms for rehab. If you want to, you can fill it in. But I'm not going to live like this any longer. And you're not an example to Hannah, my eldest daughter. And I said, okay, I will go. Just buy me 2 beers before I go in. But she didn't.
Good for her. We are laughing. We got it. Serious, but there is a bit of a giggle, yeah. And
Yeah.
And you still with a wife, and then your kids love you.
20 years this year, Nigel. November
Kwai,
the
man.
27th.
Kwai.
We'll be married for 20 years.
Nice. She must be
after,
loving you now. She must be loving you now, Robert.
Yeah, that's where the other 3 kids came from. I've got 2
She's
and
loving
boys.
him,
We've
yeah.
got 4 altogether.
Loving too much, I think.
Yeah.
I am so happy for all of you who called today. I'm thrilled. I could not be happier. This is arguably one of the happiest days of my life since being here at Heart. Just listening to these stories. Because I tell you what, Robert, you and the other callers, we still got one more call to come. You have inspired. There's no doubt about it. People are listening to this now and they're going, I must stop. I need to become sober. And they're going to be picking up phones. I don't know, WhatsApp, going back home to their parents and going, I'm sorry, and turning their lives around. The callers thus far have definitely turned lives around. Robert, thank you so much. We got to go. Sorry, Robert. You're still there. Is he 6? Is he still there? Let me do this quickly. No, he's gone. Sorry. Let's go to Anonymous. Hey, Anonymous, are you well?
Hello.
Hi.
Nigel.
Hi, how are you?
All right, and you?
Fantastic. You been sober for a while?
Actually, no.
Got it.
I'm currently still using
Drugs, alcohol?
drugs.
Sure. You got a family?
Yes, I do.
Kids?
But yes, my wife is not listening.
Sorry, just repeat that?
I hope my wife is not listening because she is one of your fans.
Oh, okay, one of my fans.
And she doesn't know you're using?
Yeah, she is. But that's why I want to stay anonymous.
No
because
worries.
My mother-in-law is also there.
No problem. Now tell me, and I'm going to ask you this on the air. Do you want to stop?
The thing is, Nigel, I started doing drugs when I was really 20, and I went to rehab. I went to my dad, and he said, no, I'm going to send you to rehab. I went, and that was already at the age of 28 or something.
Mm.
And then I went to rehab. I got out. It's over for a few weeks, not even a month, I think. But the reason I started is because my parents split, and I was
Shame. Sorry,
alone.
man.
And
So sorry.
even though they passed already now, but that's kind of the reason. But now, I just do it for the fun, and I'm fine with it. But
You obviously see it as a problem.
yeah, I know it's a problem. I can see it's causing problems. You see, but for me, it feels like I'm using it now for fun. But I don't know not how to stop. I know how to stop, but there's no. It's not that my wife doesn't inspire me to stop, or my family or whatnot, but I just I don't know what to do.
Okay, I'm obviously not a psychologist. I am. I just.
That's not what I mean saying.
No. I want to ask you just some questions. And I want to know. So you know it's wrong. You know it causes problems. You know it's bad for you. You know it's bad for your health. You know it's bad for social interactions. Is there someone within your sphere that you can lean on and go, please help me to stop?
My wife, obviously, because we went through a lot of it. But I don't know what's holding me back. Something is holding me back to do that. Even though I know that it's wrong, I know the consequences, I know what can happen, I can go to prison for it and whatnot. And yeah, because I'm using for so long now. More than 30 years now.
Sure.
I too lost a lot of jobs, very good jobs, I might add. But that it's not even that. I don't know if I'm just stubborn or whatnot.
But if I said to you that stopping would add value to your life, you'd feel better, you'd look better, you'd add better relationships with your friends, with your wife, with people that you associate with, you'll have what they call in France, I think a joie de vivre, a zest for life.
But the thing is, Nigel, I don't look bad. I don't look like one who's using. I'm working, everything. I have a family now. I think that's why nothing kind of inspires me to leave it or what. Not if you know what I mean.
Okay, so I would like, and I'm not a spokesperson for the Heart listeners, but I think probably about 99% of our audience right now listening to the show, they're going, Mr. Anonymous, please stop. They are behind you. They want you to be sober. They want you to lead a fruitful life. And we all know what impact drugs has on the body, on the system, on the mind. Yeah. Okay, so I want to I'm going to put you on hold, and then I'm going to ask, how do we put him on hold here? No, we've got his number. We're going to call you back and just find out maybe there's somebody that can actually help you. Let's go to Bronwyn very quickly. Final call here. Hey, Bronwyn, how's it going?
Hi, good evening.
Are you well?
I am blessed.
Good. Tell me why you're blessed.
I'm blessed because I am 6 years clean. I've smoked unga, buttons, tuk.
Wow.
I've destroyed a whole lot of few of my years.
And sorry, Bronwyn, I just want to know, how did you get into it so that parents can also be alive to how you as I presume, teenager back then got into it?
How I got into it, I had my mother that worked and never spent really time with me. And it was just giving me money. But I never had my mother. And I got married at a young age, got pregnant also at a young age. And the guy I married was a total, mess up. And that just sent me into depression. And I met this one friend that said, this will make you feel. I tried it, and it started with unga, and then it went on to tuk, and then it went on to buttons.
Wow.
And I had to actually get all three drugs every day. It was a lot. I had work. I eventually lost it. I sold my car. My grandpa threw me out of the house where I was renting. I was basically on the streets. I would sleep by the Kubus in Athlone.
Wow.
And my kids would walk past me every morning going to school, and they would just look at me, and I felt ashamed. And eventually I started taking them with me to the drug houses. Sure. We would walk like past 2 in the morning through Athlone, from Athlone to Charleville, through Guguletu, everywhere. I was bad.
Sure.
I stole my mother's things. I stole the TVs. My grandma's jewelry that was, given from her mother to her. It was just hectic. And one day, I actually bought me 5,000 rand worth of drugs.
5,000?
5,000. So that was equal to be buttons, stuk, and unga. Had to be separated. And I went home. And even though I was blessed with a beautiful son, on Christmas Day, he came 12 o'clock on the dot Christmas Day, and I still smoked. I was just lost. And this morning, when I came home with my 5,000 rand worth of drugs, and I said, I'm going to spend time with my kids. My son came to me and he brought me my drugs, and he said, Mommy, I know you need to smoke before you make me my breakfast. And I looked at him and I thought, my God, my son is bringing me my drugs before I can do anything for him. And I needed to smoke. The pains is bad. Nobody will understand the pains. And he came an hour afterwards to me. And he stood behind me without me knowing. I just froze. I couldn't move. I was going to take my hit, and I just couldn't move. And the only thing I could say was, God, what is happening to me? And he touched me, he hugged me. I just felt his tears coming down. He wasn't like crying with a smirk. I just felt wetness. And he told me, Mommy, you're going to die if you smoke again. And I couldn't move, turned to look at him. I was just silent. And eventually I said, Luke, where does this come from? And he said, Mommy, if you're going to smoke now, you're going to die. And eventually when he hugged me tighter, it's like my soul came back. And I looked at him and I said, Luke, were you serious? He said, Mommy, you're going to die if you smoke further. And I took my drugs and I said, okay, Mommy's going to throw this away. And he looked at me and said, are you going to throw it in the bin? And I said, why can't I? He said, but when you're going to get sick, Mommy, you're going to scratch in that bin. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was hard so to stand by that toilet pot, cutting my drugs, my 5,000 rand worth of drugs, and throwing it in the toilet pot. And all I could say was, God, I'm going to have pains, I'm going to have pains, I'm going to have pains. And eventually, I went on my bed, and he said, Mommy, I'm going to be with you. And 3 hours after that, my pains came. My mom came home, and she's like, I don't care because you came 3 times right and you just went back. This is one of your jokes again to get more money out of me. And after 3 days, she saw that I was getting sicker and sicker. And she got me medicine, methadone, that was what she got me, and packs, sleeping tablets. And that has helped me. And then I found out that I was a bit now too addicted to that. So I'm off drugs, but I'm addicted to this to keeping me sane. Mm. And I had to get myself off that. And I'm off it for no rehab, no psychologist, no psychiatrist, no nothing. Just God's grace, my family that's been standing by me. and I'm going strong. I stay in a community where I stay next to a drug house. My brother-in-law smokes drugs in the yard.
Good grief.
But I tell you, I am not tempted. I won't look at that stuff again. And to the anonymous caller that said that he don't know how to stop, he hasn't found his purpose then to stop.
How long, Bronwyn, have you been sober?
6 years. February 11th was 6 years.
Wow.
But to be honest with you, the way I've smoked, I feel like I should have been dead by now. I've been supposed to be dead 6 times already, but God brought me through all that, and I'm just grateful. I am standing strong. So nobody can say they can't do it. I did it without rehab. I did it without, going to doctors or whatever. It's your willpower. It's you inside that needs to say, I want to stop because I have a purpose. God could have let me die in all the 6 times, but he has a purpose for me. And I found out what my purpose is. My purpose is to be a mother. My purpose is to be a grandma to my granddaughter. My purpose is to be a daughter to my mother. I am a purpose, and I believe I'm strong. So people cannot say they can't stop. You can stop.
Bronwyn, I don't have to say anything. With this has to live on our podcast, I want Cape Townians, I want the world to listen to your testimony, to your story, which is brutally honest and searingly honest. It's arguably one of the best calls I've ever taken on air. It is so powerful, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You've moved an entire city this afternoon.
Thank you. I'm glad finally I could get my story out. I've been trying to help a lot of people, and I'm glad I can get it now on air. I just want people to know, I have a lot to still say about, what I've been through, what I've done. And I'm sure there are people that are listening that are doing these things to their parents right now. And I'm sure there are parents that are listening that knows what they are going through. Like my mother too, she went through a lot, through high and hell. I mean, she doesn't even have a place of her own because of me, of what I did. So it's hard so to think what you put your mother through. And at the end of the day, yes, you can't even give anything back to her, but yet she still forgives you.
Sure. Just in closing, Bronwyn, your kids, are they healthy?
They are all healthy. I started now work with my daughter at a creche. She's 22 years old. My other daughter's in matric. She's going on well. She's converted. She got baptized 2 months ago. And my son is doing wonderful in school. So I'm blessed. And I mean, I lost my cousin that also helped me through my drug problem, even though he was also on drugs. And he was in an accident while he was smoking his buttons. And he died on the spot from smoking while driving. So a lot comes with it.
Bronwyn, many, many, many thanks for your story, for your account, for your honesty, for sharing your story to millions here in Cape Town, across South Africa and globally. Thank you so much. We are extremely grateful.
You're welcome, and I'm so glad I could share my story.
Have a wonderful evening and give your kids a hug from all of us.
I will do so.
All right.
Thank you so much, eh?
All right, Bronwyn. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, Roman.